Hi and welcome back to Chops Garage. The big news today is the silver Yaris has just sold, and the important thing about that is it's the last car in the 9-car flip. So those of you that haven't seen those videos, go back in my back catalogue, start from the beginning of the 9-car flip. I bought 9 cars from BCA all in one go. Most cars I've bought in one lump. I had to get them all prepped because they all needed little bits of work doing on them. This one though, I procrastinated on it. It took me about 2 months to get round to putting the clutch in it and get it up for sale. It's now sold. It was the last car on a 9-car flip, so I can now finally work out for you the total profit from those 9 cars. I know some of you have been waiting to see what the numbers are on it. So let's get to the numbers and work out exactly what we made.
So with the Yaris sold, let's start looking what we made out of that 9-car flip. 8 were from BCA, 1 was from Copart, but most were from BCA. Added the one from Copart because although I didn't buy it as part of this bundle in one go, it was bought on the same day, so I included it in the numbers. So first up, Toyota Yaris. This was a Category S car that came to us. I had to paint a door on it, which I had some trouble with being silver and rattle canning it. But it cleaned up nice. It ran really well. We tidied it right up. Sold to a doctor for his son's first car, and we sold that one for £1,495. That one took the longest to sell because I had to put a clutch in it as well, and I just procrastinated and took ages to do it. Otherwise, all the cars could have been sold a couple of months earlier. But yeah, we got £1,495, which means £995 profit. Next up, Citroen C1 VTR. These always sell super quick. I tell you all to buy these if you see them. It has to be a VTR though. This one had flaking flaking lacquer, which I blew off and then machine polished it up, and it sold straight away as soon as I listed it. And again, on the video, you can see how I tidied that lacquer up. Went to a chap again for his daughter who was a nurse. So again, hospital related. Went down Plymouth way, I think. That one, £750 paid for 2009 with 90,000 miles on it. Sold it for £1,995 under that magic 2k mark, which stuff always sells super quick. £1,245 profit. Next up, Skoda Fabia 1.2 on a 2007 57 with 94,000 miles on it. I bought this thinking that was snow on the bonnet, but it turned out it was cracked paint down to primer. So we had to paint the bonnet. We had to clean the hell out of the interior on it. But it turned out to be a nice car. Went local, that one, to a chap as just a runabout. Sold it for £1,945, making £1,345 profit. Next one up, Mazda 2 1.3. This was a Category N car, but it only had 52,000 miles on it and a good service history, 2009, and it was really clean. So I just cleaned this up and it sold immediately at £2,495. Got it for £1,100. Didn't have to do anything to it other than clean it. £1,395 profit on that one. That was a good buy. Those Mazda 2s always seem to go quick as well. Next one up, Honda Jazz 1.4. This one, we painted the front and rear bumpers on it. And it had 85,000 miles on it. It was a nice car. Once cleaned up, it ran like a sewing machine, as they always do. Once cleaned it up, it was really nice with that bit of paint on it. Bought it for £1,100. Sold it for £2,295. Did have it up for £2,495, and the guy came to buy it at that price, but I actually dropped it the morning he came to see it. So I felt that the right thing to do was sell it to him at that price, even though he hadn't seen that price. So could have got a bit more for it. So £1,295 profit on that one. Chevy Spark. I always buy these if I see these. They're great little run around, super cheap to run. You can buy them for peanuts, but they sell well as well. This is a 2011, had 90,000 miles on it. Had to put an MOT on it, give it a clean up. Cleaned up really well. Bought it for £600. Sold it for £1,995 the day after I advertised it. Went straight out the door. Made £1,395 profit on that one. Next one, the biggest one, the Kia Rio, biggest profit. Now, if you remember, this one was a Category N car again. The rear quarter glass had been broken out of it. Someone had broken into the car, broken through the rear quarter glass. The transport company couldn't fit it on a trailer with the rest. They drove it back from London for me, and it didn't miss a beat all the way back. So I knew straight away it'd be a good little car. It had a great service history. It had a cam belt done recently, but I stole that for £200. I had a chap waiting on my books who wanted something under £2,000. He really liked the look of this. I got £1,995 for that one. So £1,795 profit. Cheap little car, that one. Then a Nissan Micra. This one, again, as soon as I cleaned it, sold the following day. I had a lady wanted to get a car from me on recommendation. This came in 70,000 miles. It was super clean on a 2010. Had a good service history. Paid good money for it, £1,550, but it sold for £3,195. N-Tech's really well specced out, and it was really clean. Made £645 profit on that one. Lady was really happy with that car. And then finally, the Mitsubishi Mirage that I got from Copart at the same time as those other cars. Got £875 I paid for it on a 2013 with only 40,000 miles on it. So I had to put a wing and a bumper on this one, if you remember. When I had to repair the wing and I repaired the bumper, I didn't have to actually put any parts into it. It had had a full service history, like right up to the same day every year. The service history was impeccable on it. The car came out clean. Girl really liked this one. She again had been recommended to get a car from me, was hanging out to find out what I got in, and this one came along and she bought it from me before I even had it finished. We sold that one for £2,995. Made £2,120 profit. So great numbers, aren't they? But they're total crap. This is utter rubbish. And I'm going to show you what I mean in a minute. All the numbers I've given you are gross profit figures, and they're what a huge proportion of the channels give you when they are going through their profit with their headline figures. I made this much, I made that much. There's very few channels that are telling you the truth. One of them that I follow, Flipping Cars for Profit, one of my mates down Plymouth Way. I follow his channel well. He's one of the only people I know that's genuine about what profit they actually make out of these cars. I'm going to show you why this is complete rubbish, and I'm going to show you what I actually made out of these cars now. So the headline bullcrap figure is that I made £13,330 profit. 13,000. So how much of that? Comment down below now. How much of that do you actually think I pocketed? £13,330 profit. Comment now. Go straight to the comments now and put in there how much of that you think I actually got to put in my pocket. So here's a spreadsheet, guys, with the real numbers on it. First up, the Yaris. I told you that I made £995 profit on that, which would be a gross profit percentage of 199%. Sounds great, doesn't it? But with delivery and with fees and parts, there was £684 spent, which gives me a net profit of £310. But I had to pay £129.67 out in VAT. I got to claim £64 of that VAT back. So my true net profit was £245.48, but I've got to pay Stuart something towards use of the garage and for his help. So £63 went to him. So I actually pocketed from that gross profit of £995, £182. The Citroen C1, we said we made £1,245 on it, 166%. Well, costs were £595 for delivery, refurb, giving a net profit of £649.97. The VAT was £171 to pay on the margin scheme because I have to pay it on the gross profit, so I have to pay it on this profit here, not the net profit. I managed to claim back £82 in VAT. So the true net profit from the VTR was £561, but again, I've got to pay Stuart something out, so I paid him £158 out. So I pocketed £402.93. Skoda Fabia, we said we made £1,345 from it. But in reality, after spending £611 out of it, after paying for the VAT, what I claimed back, blah, 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 I actually made £405, not £1,345. And then I had to spend £50 on rear drums a couple of weeks later because one of them seized up. So we, which you never knew was going to happen because it was driving fine at the time. So I did that under the warranty. The Mazda 2, I said I made £1,395 out of it. Well, after costs of £539, which really was just the delivery and other warranty, those kind of bits and bobs, my net profit was £855 after everything, VAT. £424.62 is what I made on it. The Honda Jazz, £1,295 was the headline figure for what I made on that. The reality is, after everything, I made £427. And again, these aren't cars that took a lot of parts. This is just things like these costs include, you've got to allow at least a couple of £100 for the fees for the auction house. I've got to pay a couple of £100 for delivery for these cars because they all take a while to get me. So you can see even on that, there's only like about 60-70 quid in parts. But then I've got to pay £177 in VAT because I've got to pay out the gross profit. So my actual profit after all of that is £427.75. The Chevy Spark, £1,500 profit. Well, no, it wasn't. After all of the costs, again, it wasn't a high parts car. I actually made £440 out of it. The Kia Rio, that's the headline one, isn't it? Made £1,795 on that on a £200 car. No, I didn't. After I've done everything, £483 was the actual profit on the car. The Nissan Micra, £1,645. The actual true profit, and this is net profit, not gross profits. That's the difference. Net profit is after all of your costs, everything. Gross profit is before, £569. So that wasn't a bad one because it just needed cleaning up. The Mitsubishi Mirage, I actually netted £632 on that. But you've got to bear in mind, there's quite a bit of work in that. I spent probably 3 days doing that car in total, doing paint and other bits, maybe 2 days, doing bits and bobs in that. So obviously, I haven't got forecourt costs in there, and garage costs, but that's basically what I'm paying Stuart, is the equivalent of having my own unit and paying for people to do bits of paint here and mechanical work. So that's what that basically covers. So the actual true net profit after everything, £3,969 on 9 cars. And you know from watching my channel how much work had to be done to prep those cars. Now, there's easier ways to make money selling cars. Let's not get out twisted on that front. I could have bought newer cars that didn't need any prep. If I bought something 5-6 years old, I wash it, stick it out the front, don't need to do anything to it, I should be making higher profit levels than these. But you only really ever make about 20% margin on a car. Anyway, if you buy one for £5,000, you're going to make £1,000 on it. I'm buying cars here for £500, £1,000 and making £400 on them. So by percentage is not bad. My overall percentage, my return on my investment net after all costs, on average I earned £441 per car, and on return on investment wise it's 32%. So overall it's not bad. I mean, some of the cars just needed washing, but again, it's not these headline figures a lot of you see on his channels. And one of my goals with my channel is for you guys to realize that if you want to get into this game, it's not all, just rivers of honey and all that kind of stuff. The headline figures people are giving you aren't necessarily what they're actually making out of the cars. You have to factor in all of your costs that are going to be associated with selling your vehicles. Warranty claims that come up later on, like they did with the Skoda there. The fact you're going to have to pay to have some form of premises, and if you're not paying for premises, you might have to pay someone to sort of, use some shared space. If you start turning over just a few cars, you'll go over the VAT threshold, and you'll have to start paying that margin on the VAT. So these are things you need to know about. But also my goal is that when you go and look at a car on a forecourt and you're trying to hammer somebody down, when I get people coming along looking at £2,500 cars, trying to knock £300 or £400 off them, there isn't that much margin in these cars. There really isn't. If you're going to stand by them, and who begrudges me £400 on any of these cars, knowing from my channel what I will do if there is a warranty issue? I jump straight on it and I fix it straight away. So, no one should be begrudging me a £400 margin on these cars if I'm going to give that kind of a service. So I want you to also realise that dealers aren't all making a fortune on these cars and can't give you huge discounts. So that's something to respect along the way as well. So I hope that was of value to you guys. I've always told you on my channel I'm going to be honest with you. Those headline gross profit figures, you've got to be really careful that you're watching these videos and you understand. Like I said, there's a few people that are doing it right. I'm not bashing them at all. They're giving you the honest figures. Some of them show you the spreadsheets like they do on this, like I've done here. They give you the honest figures, so it's far more realistic on what you're doing. And again, if you're buying higher end, newer cars, if I bought cars here at £2,000, and £3,000 and made my 30% on it, yeah, I'd be making £600 to £1,000 on each of the cars and probably having less hassle doing any work on them because they are, because they're that much newer. And before anybody else says you haven't added your labour to this, your income is what you get paid for your labour. That really winds me up. Oh, you haven't added your labour. I've paid for anybody else's labour in my commissions here. This is what I pocket for the work. Like, so when you go to work and you do your 7 hours of whatever it is, 5 hours in a day, 5 hours or 6 hours in a day, and you get paid a salary for those hours, this is what pays my salary, what I make profit-wise. So my profit is what I'm paying myself for my labour. If you want to work out what this is, on some of these cars I spent a day on them, and some of these cars I spent 2 days on them. So I'm probably earning a couple of £100 per day in salary. Will I pay some tax on this at the end of the year? Quite possibly, but I plough all of my money back into my cars again, so I don't necessarily show a profit because I'm always increasing the amount of stock I've got and how much I'm spending out. So I may pay a small amount of tax on it. But again, during COVID, a lot of people haven't had any earnings at all because they were paying themselves dividends and stuff like that. And a lot of people got this idea that they're all tax dodgers and making a fortune, and that isn't necessarily the case. But anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox now, leave you to it. I hope that was of value on it. New videos dropping soon, but I did promise I'd give you the final numbers on that 9-car flip. If you haven't seen those videos, go back. There is a playlist for the 9-car flip. And I always said I'd be honest to you with the numbers. So there you go. That's what the numbers are. Thanks for watching as always. Really value your comments. Message below. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know what you think of the profits I made. Are they fair profits for what I did with the cars and how I stand by the cars? Are you surprised by how little is actually made out of them, or is this about where you thought it was? I'd be interested in your feedback. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, and you'll be seeing me on a video again very soon. Please do hit that subscribe button if you like this video, and hit that like button because it's really going to help my channel. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.